Let it rain. Let me fall down.
Hey everybody, I am Scotty J. Welcome back to Rock Titan Live. Got an awesome show, as we always do. This particular musician that we have with us today, though, you all know him predominantly as the bass player for Trixter, that I love. But not only does he play bass for Trixter, he's been in a bunch of other bands, one of which we actually caught up with some of those guys from Quarantine not too long ago. Chris Jericho, Bruce Kulick, and he played bass with those guys. So that's very cool. But probably the most significant thing about this guy is he rocks a V-neck t-shirt way better than I do. Ladies and gentlemen, PJ Farley, how you doing, man?
Pit stains and all, everybody. Pit stains and all. Not afraid to show them either.
No, man, no. But like I said, I got the crew neck on, man. You got the V-neck. You wear it way better than I do. I'm just, I'm afraid to show the cleavage.
Yeah.
You know,
Little boob never hurt.
well, it hurts me. It hurts me
Gotta
big
put it
time.
out there in the universe. You gotta show a
Yeah.
little, get a little.
Yeah, but it's funny, PJ, because like I was introducing you, everyone knows you for your bass playing. But if they go back, this is your second album that we're talking about, Accent the Change, which came out exactly a week ago from today. But so you show off all your skills. Now I know in your debut album, your debut solo album, Boutique Sound Frames, you played all the instruments for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the same thing for this?
On some of the songs, but no, I was lucky enough to have other people join me and help me out. I wanted I wanted people better than me to play some stuff. I did the first record all myself just because that's the way it was. Um, it's just the way it happened.
Okay.
I wasn't set out to make a record. I was just recording songs, and so I didn't really feel like calling anyone up and bothering them because it was like last minute. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cut these tracks. So I just wound up doing it myself. This record I did, I did all the obviously singing, bass, a lot of the guitar, but it's like 4 songs where I worked with Sahaj from Ra, which is another band of mine.
Right.
And he played a lot of guitar on those songs. And I had a couple of drummers. I played some drums, but I had Ken Slutcher from Luke Bryan's band in Quarantine, played drums on a song. Chuck Alkazian, producer engineer from Detroit, I worked with. He played drums on 2 songs. And so, I got a little bit of different feels, which was kind of cool. I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Not having to do it all myself.
Yeah, right on. Well, you sounded great, man. Like we were talking about a little bit off the record before we formally kick things off here on Rock Titan Live. Man, you've got a great singing voice. You really do. One of the things I want to ask you, and we're going to talk about this next because of how this particular song is going to be featured in the upcoming week. But you wouldn't happen to be a Bruce Hornsby fan by any chance, are you?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. The reason I'm asking you that is because Let It Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Let It Rain with the piano and just your vocals specifically on that track.
Yeah.
I could have almost mistaken you for Bruce Hornsby. I mean, literally. I mean, I'm listening to the piano. I'm listening to your vocals. I'm like, man, this is smooth. I mean, this is the smooth. Not any way that any of your fans from, Ra or Trixter would know you. I mean, this is just flat out smooth. Who played the pianos on that?
Sahaj from Ra. Yeah.
Okay. Man, that was sweet, man.
Yeah, good touch.
I really dug it. So, Let It Rain, that being said, you've got an official music video for that, if I'm not mistaken, coming out in the upcoming week on that Jamieson show from none other than our friend Don Jamieson, yeah?
Yeah, October 6th, Tuesday afternoon.
Very, very
Very
cool.
exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah. Now, are you personal friends with Jamieson? You know that cat?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How far you guys go back?
I mean, we would run into each other, somewhat. I wouldn't say frequently, but frequent enough, and we have so many mutual friends. Eddie Trunk is a good friend of obviously both of ours. So we kind of just run in the same circles.
Right on.
So,
Now,
yeah.
now I might have missed the episode that you may have been featured on. Were you on that metal show back in the day?
No.
No?
Steve went as a guest guitar player. Steve from Trixter. He sat in, did the shred section on an episode.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'll be on the next one when it gets re-upped sometime.
All right. Now, spoilers, everybody. And again, we're here with PJ Farley. So for Let It Rain, what made you decide to release this, on that Jamieson show versus any of the other outlets that I know a lot of people feature them on, whether it's, oh God, I don't know, Kerrang or, Loudwire. I know they do a lot of debuts and stuff like that. Was there anything specific where you just said, you know what, man, I want to do this on that Jamieson show?
I was at Eddie Trunk's house with Don and Jim Florentine.
Oh yeah, right on, man.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, and he said, you got to come on the show, and I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So when it was time to set up press and everything like that, we got in touch, and he asked me if I had a video, and I said, yeah, well, it's actually almost done. And I thought that would be cool to kind of because I was trying to figure out how I was gonna premiere it, and I figured it's gonna get to all the loud wires and all that stuff eventually anyway.
Right.
And I just thought, I'm gonna be going in and sitting in with Don for an hour and talking, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought that was a good way to kick it off, and maybe bring some traffic to his show and vice versa, and just something different.
Yeah, right on. Well, you guys are all Jersey boys.
Yeah. Keep it real.
It's funny. I was going to bring this up later, but I think it is kind of interesting because Jamieson obviously is a comedian. That's how a lot of folks know him, apart from that metal show. But at one time, I guess you were playing on tour with Jim Breuer. Yeah?
Yeah. I was. We played, Steve and I and Joey Casada, who's also the band I played with, Eric Martin. We were Jim's backing band for a year.
That's cool, man. Oh
Yeah.
God, Jim Breuer. He's crazy. I think he's one of the funniest comedians out there. Not that
No doubt
Don's
about
any
it.
slouch, or Jim Florentine for that matter. I've seen both their stand-up comedy, but man, he's pretty funny, huh?
He's hysterical. He's a genuine article, and he's just on. That's just him. You put him on stage, but you take him off stage, and he's the same. Like, hey Jim, how was your weekend? Boom, right into a story, just like he's on stage. So there's no like, all right, let me turn it on like Dice or Sam Kinison. It's like, boom, you're getting a story the way he would tell it on stage.
Yeah, he does some pretty amazing. He does some pretty amazing impersonations too, especially for the musicians. Because obviously he does Metallica. He loves to do Metallica. He loves to do AC/DC. What do you think about his Brian Johnson, man?
It's second to none.
Right?
It's like I could listen to it all day, especially considering that he knows Brian so well and he's got a relationship with him. He's not just like pulling AC/DC lyrics. Like he knows it. Like he goes to his house, he goes to dinner with him, and so he's got like real content, of conversations that they've had, which is just classic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, God.
And like hearing him tell the story is like I'm in the room with him.
Right.
He actually does a phenomenal Angus too. Little known fact.
Yeah. Oh man,
stellar.
the way he bounces back on stage, back and forth. Oh man, he's got the moves. I don't know how he does it. I'd probably have like a stroke. I'm not in good enough shape to be able to do that. Yeah, especially at our age. But he wears it well, as do you. Not that you're old by any stretch, but man, you've been in music for a long time. One of the things that kind of blew my mind. Am I accurate in saying that You joined Trixter when you were 16?
15.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's insane, man. So what? You're like a sophomore or junior in high school?
I think it was junior maybe. Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, Steve was only a senior at that point.
Wow. And the fact that you guys exploded, that you were as big, as you were and are, that just seems to be, and I can't think of any musicians really that made it, quote unquote, made it, at such a young age. For you personally as a musician, do you ever think back to when you really, got started with Trixter? Like, did it even dawn on you that like what was happening was actually really happening now, having been in the industry for as long as you've been?
Yeah. I mean, we were so tunnel vision focused, and we saw the momentum that we were creating even before we got signed. I mean, Trixter had momentum before I even joined the band. So I was like 13, 14, still playing these all ages clubs with Trixter, who already had a following. Because we were playing a lot of the clubs that were in their kind of hometown. I grew up 15 minutes away from Paramus, so there was one club that was only 10 minutes from Paramus. So they would play that and it would be packed. And then, a couple other nearby clubs. So they had a great following already. And then I joined the band, and then, it just picked up steam. And so we had a lot of, steam going on before we got signed. And it was just like this the whole time. So
Right.
it was a pretty good idea. And, we were fueling the fire for sure.
Well, that's just so amazing to me because, I mean, especially kids, which you were, at that age, you're thinking, you got this whole life ahead of you, and especially when you tell anybody, like your parents, family members, friends, stuff like that, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I'm going to be a rock star, I'm going to be a professional musician.
No time to even ask that question.
Right? Because it doesn't necessarily seem attainable. It's like hitting the lottery, whether you have talent or not, which clearly you did, will always have. But sometimes in the industry, as you well know, I'm sure you've come across many, many musicians that you thought had a ton of talent. And for whatever reason, they just never made it. I'm doing this quote thing way too much, but
no doubt about it. There's a thing to be said for that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like, well, the most talented musicians get the big breaks. That's not how it works. There's got to be other energies and elements, and there's more to it than just being super proficient at your instrument. Not going to do it. So you can sit in your basement, you can practice till you're blue in the face, but if you overlook all the other elements that need to go into your game, attaining your goal of whether it's being in a band, getting a record deal, and getting on MTV back in the day, let's say, it takes more than just being the best at your instrument. So much more, because I play bass, yes, but you can throw a dart out the window and find a better bass player than me. It's other things that go into it. There's the law of attraction. There's all that stuff that I really believe in, and stuff off the stage that goes into it as well. So I mean, it's more that you have to put into the atmosphere there to really kind of attract that luck.
Yeah. I gotta stop doing this. I really have to stop doing it. But that being said, because you made it, you did. You made it at such a young age. Aside from being a musician, was there anything else that you ever thought about that you wanted to be? Like, let's just say that the music gods, didn't bless you, and I dub thee Sir PJ Farley, and you are going to be a rock star. What else would you have? Was there ever a thought of anything else that you might do with your life?
No, there was never a time for me to have to really sit down and think about that
Man.
before it started happening. Like I didn't have to go, I don't know, man, what if this music thing doesn't pan out? Because, yeah,
You're spoiled brat, man.
before I graduated high school, it was panning out.
That's insane, man. I mean, this outside like the pop world, you know, where you see some of these young kids like your Justin Biebers and like you know, your Britney Spears and stuff like that. They were like really young. Even oh god, what's her head? Taylor Swift, you know, like they're young, you know, when they make it in that specific genre of music. But you don't see that all that often in like rock and roll and heavy metal.
In fact, I remember seeing Ozzy and Motley Crue at the Meadowlands Arena in New Jersey in 1984. And after the fact, learning that Tommy Lee was only 19
That's crazy.
when he played that show, I'm like, wow. I'm like, and then I remember I played the Meadowlands for the first time and I was 18. I'm like, I beat him. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest rock star to play the Meadowlands. Like I did it.
That should be an award, man.
Right.
And it's funny because you bring up Tommy Lee, the drummer. Drumming was your first instrument that you took up, was it not?
Yeah, my first love.
Yeah.
Still kind of is.
Wow, that's wild. And then you picked up the bass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I did for sure. I mean, it was, you know, definitely the best decision I made. But I love the drums, and you know, that's my, you know, the first thing I hear. You know, I'm always doing this. You know, first thing I hear of any song is the drums, and I can air drum the shit out of anything I hear first time. You know, I couldn't tell you a lyric to anything, or you know, but you know, the beat, I got the beat.
Right. That's funny. That's fun. Now, as far as bass goes, are you exclusively a 4-string guy, or like have you ventured outside that world playing anything crazy like some of the other bassists we've had on the show with like, you know, 5 strings, 8 strings, 10 strings, 12-string basses? Have you ever done anything like that?
I did the 5-string thing for a little bit, and then I just found that I never found one that I really truly fell in love with. I did have one that got stolen. I used on our second record, and it was just really cool. It felt really good, and it got stolen out on the road. And then I used, you know, like a Music Man, even the Spectres, which I play almost exclusively. I just don't like them. The pickups that usually come in a 5-string, I just don't like them. And I have small hands. The neck is a little bit bigger. So actually what I've been doing for almost 20 years is I string up my 4-string basses like a 5-string. So I like to say that I treat my basses like my women. I get the G string off as quick as I can. So what that means is my bass is strung up B-E-A-D. So I have the low B string and there's no G string. Catch my drift.
Yes,
so,
the imaginary G.
If I need anything from that high G string, I'll just transpose it and I'll play it above the 12th fret on the D string. But, you know, for the most part, I got no business up there. So yes. I'm good. I hang down low, and, you know, there's plenty for me to do down there.
Man, you have hung out with your share of comedians, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we can tell. Well, again, everybody, we're here with PJ Farley, and we're talking about his sophomore album, Accent the Change, and that is the follow-up from Boutique Soundframes. One of the things I thought was wild, and, you know, I was just kind of stalking you, you know, on social media and whatnot. I thought it was wild, man, because Wait and Fade, the very first track off of Accent the Change, I guess, the distributor, whoever it was, put out a totally different version of that song from like a totally different artist. So it's like people are going out looking for your music and they're getting something else.
Yeah. Millions of people were disappointed. Yeah, it was funny. And ironically, I was on the road when my record came out last week, and I was in Cleveland, which we all know, hello, Cleveland, right?
Hello, Cleveland. Yeah.
When I realized that this screw up happened, I'm like, I'm in Cleveland in 2020. Fucking record didn't stand a chance coming out, right? Yeah, each song when you release a record has a code attached to it, and that code is used to upload to all the digital platforms and stuff. So Wait and Fade had two numbers off on its code, and it attached to someone else's Wait and Fade, or someone else's song. I don't even know if the song was called Wait and Fade. I didn't even hear the whole thing. I just heard the beginning. I'm like, what the fuck? That's not me. So I started putting up fires at like
That's crazy.
10 o'clock in the morning, getting on that. And yeah, it was pretty comical. And, I don't know.
That had to frustrate
I
the
had to
hell
talk
out of you, man. You're like, dude, what the hell? What is
I had
this?
to talk myself off the ledge and remain calm and cool because, it's the first song of the record. And I'm a real stickler for sequencing for records and even live shows or hit set lists. And, I know I really pay attention and get into the feel of a show or a record and, the journey that it takes you on. So for the first song of the record to get fucked up, it's like 2 years I've been working on this record, and this is completely wrong now.
That is wrong, man.
It was fixed pretty quickly, as quickly as could be. So, it was resurrected, so to speak.
Well, we're going to make up for everything regardless with Let It Rain, because once Mr. Jamieson throws that on his show, it's going to explode, as it should. But PJ, one of the other funny things that I know you've brought up not too long ago, I guess, and you echoed some sentiments from a guy, that I love, that we've had on the show a couple times, Kevin Martin from Candlebox. Mm-hmm. And he specifically talked about the idea of never, ever again in his entire music career. I am never going to put out a full-length album ever again. I'm just going to do singles, maybe an EP, maybe. But people's attention spans just suck anymore, So yeah. What is the point of putting out a full-length album? And I got you on video saying, I am never going to put a full-length album out ever again. However, Accent the Change, you got 9 tracks. I think that qualifies.
It does. And you know what? If it was 6 songs, I was going to call it a record. I wasn't going to call it an EP. I was dead set on that because I wasn't really that motivated to do a full record because of that fact. So much goes into making a record, especially for me when I'm doing everything, and it's all writing and all that stuff. It's a lot. It's a lot emotionally, physically, financially, time consuming. So a lot goes into it. And, the return isn't what it used to be. So it's really truly a labor of love. And nowadays, people are just listening on their phone, they're picking their songs, they're, streaming whatever. And it's not like it was. So, at first I was just like, man, I got a couple of songs. Maybe I'll just do an EP and leave it at that, because fuck those 14 song records and 12, even 12. I'm like, I'm going back to the 70s with Kiss, like 8, 9 songs. And that's it, man. I'm not going to try to command that kind of attention from anybody anymore. And it's like, I think people appreciate that really. My record's like 35 minutes. I think you can handle that.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. If you can get through 35 minutes, I applaud you. But more than that, I don't know. I don't even want, my favorite bands, I don't want any more than that.
Yeah. Well, attention spans these days aren't what they used to be.
Right.
But, everybody, again.
And if I have more songs, I'll release another record and you can buy that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're talking about Accent the Change, your sophomore album. And everybody, I'm just going to run through the track listing here really quick. Like PJ said, it's not that long. But you'll be able to go out to rocktitan.tv, not .net, not .org, not .com, rocktitan.tv, and check out my entire review of this album. But we got Wait and Fade, Walking Backwards, Let It Rain, Chokehold, not Stranglehold, nothing like Ted Nugent's Stranglehold, Chokehold, but good, Slow, You Would Know, The Good Life, My Reason, and Comfortable Silence.
Yes.
And man, it was awesome. I tell you what, PJ, one of the songs that really grabbed me at an emotional level. I'm guessing you're a father. I'm guessing you have kids.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Two
and and
daughters.
my reason was about your children.
Yep.
Oh man, that was beautiful, dude. I love the lyrics in that. I mean, because for me, my kids, they're my reason to live.
Yeah.
You know, that was
Yep.
that was. I'm get and just listening to all these songs, and I'm dissecting them because that's part of what I do.
Thank you for doing that.
You know, it's my honor and my privilege, and I'm just glad I had the opportunity to listen to it. And I love the artwork on the cover too. By the way, who did that eye? Who did your artwork?
My daughter, she was 8. She did it. She's 9 now, and she did it when she was 8. She's obsessed with painting eyes and drawing eyes and sketching, and she gets really into it. And I didn't ask her to do that. I just kind of took it, and I didn't tell her. She had all these paintings laying around. I'm like, that one's going on my album cover. 8 years
Man, you're the man.
old.
PJ, that's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Your daughter had to be tickled.
She doesn't know yet.
Like, oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm waiting to give her. I still don't even have a physical copy of the record yet, so I'm waiting to give her a copy of the record because she's one of these. She's like an artist where you go, oh, Maisie, this is beautiful. It's garbage, you know, typical, So she's probably gonna be pissed off, and you go, Daddy, why did you use that? That's terrible. Yeah, why would you have I did that when I was 8 years old. Why would you let an 8-year-old do your album cover? But so I'm thinking to soften the blow when I hand her a CD. She'll see how cool it is. And like, look, you're on my guitar picks now. You're on my T-shirts. You're on everything. You're like an artist now. I'm hoping that softens the blow. So a couple of days when I get that CD, we'll see how she reacts.
That and maybe some of the royalties.
Yeah.
Listen, hey,
Oh, I'm
Dad.
gonna hand her a $100 bill too.
You know,
Go buy some LOLs.
kick back some of the royalties. No, that's cool. Now, so with this album, are you doing anything on vinyl? Has there been thought to like any of the different kind of hard copy offerings, or is this exclusively
Yeah,
digital?
we're gonna do
Okay.
I think we're gonna do a pre-sale for the vinyl in a couple of weeks
All right.
because there's been a lot of people. Vinyl's really coming back, and people are asking for it. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely gonna do that.
Oh man, that's very cool. Well, I know time is valuable, time is sensitive. I probably should have just driven over to your place, man. Just being not too far from Philadelphia. You're over there in South Jersey. I should have just come over to the Farley abode and set up shop, set up the cameras there.
Pool's still open, man. Bring your trunks.
All right. Yeah, I might have to take you up on that. We'll do that. We'll do that another time.
All right.
But I know we got to let you go. But one of the things I thought was really cool, because again, not too long ago, we talked with Chris Jericho, and we've had Bruce Kulick on a couple of times, and you were featured on Quarantine.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't get a whole lot out of Jericho. He didn't have a lot of time. Talk is Jericho. He had to go. He had to go wrestle somebody.
You
know?
talked to Chris Jericho and didn't get a line out of him? Are you kidding? Really? What the hell?
Right? Yeah, no, and I know that you'd been out there with Fozzy and stuff like that too. You jammed along with those guys. You shared the stage with them. But how cool was it to be able to collaborate, with musicians like that, especially Kulick? I mean, with the being guitarist for Kiss and Grand Funk Railroad. I mean, that dude, he's pretty sick. How much fun was that?
Yeah, it was great. And Bruce and I toured together on the Revenge tour when Trixter played with Kiss, and so yeah, it was great. It was a great. I always talk about the quarantine and the whole pandemic and shutdown. I'm a positive guy. I look at the positive, and quarantine came out of quarantine, and
Right.
A lot of opportunities and good things have come out of it. Aside of the bad, but a lot of great opportunities and new things came out of it, and that was one of them. Brought that whole band together and Bruce into quarantine, and just a great thing that never would have happened if not for it.
That's amazing. I mean, because there is a silver lining. There is the positive
Absolutely.
side of this. Because so many artists like yourself, you've been forced to kind of think about how you can monetize your career in a different way. Because kind of like you alluded to early on in the conversation, it's not like the glory days when you were coming up in the 80s and, you know, continuing on in the 90s where you guys could generate serious revenue from record sales, which, what is that anymore? You know, nowadays it's all about the tour life and merch.
Yeah.
You know.
It's it.
And with this, we haven't been able to tour. We haven't been able to do any of that stuff. So you guys you've been forced to think more outside the box as far as how to occupy your time, how to still work on, you know, your art and do what it is you love to do and make money doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess all that being said, have you been writing new solo music? Have you been doing anything else with Trixter, Raw? Is Quarantine going to be more than just a one-off with some of the singles they put out? What do you got going on?
Keep going. You're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Ra has a new record coming out. I think our new single is coming out at the end of October. We have a new record coming out, I want to say March. My video comes out October 6th.
Yes.
And I'm going to be hopefully doing some shows with that. Eric Martin and myself have a bunch of acoustic dates along with the percussionist Ben Hands all throughout the end of the year, and some Fozzy stuff on the horizon. Juggling and loving it.
Look at
Yeah.
you, man. My God.
Busy.
You got it going on.
Blessed.
All right. All right. Well, everybody, I know you have enjoyed this chat with Mr. PJ Farley. And if you indeed have, as I have every confidence you did, go out to youtube.com/Rock Titan. That's it. Just /Rock
That's
Titan.
easy. That's easy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy, and you'll be able to see this entire podcast. And then you can go out to rocktitan.tv, not .org, not .com, and you'll be able to check out this full review. And I'll throw up the official music video for what is it? Let It Rain after Don Jamieson gets his hands on it, because hey,
The Don gets it first.
It's Jamieson, man. It's that Jamieson show. It is what it is. But PJ, thank you so much for joining me on Rock Titan Live. It has been an absolute privilege and an honor, man.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for listening. Thanks for having me. And I want to see what you're doing with that green screen back behind you. Or is that a wall?
It's going to be your daughter's beautiful art.
Awesome.
It's going to be your daughter's beautiful art. That is the plan. So with that, everybody, yes, absolutely. Again, everybody, I'm Scotty J. You're watching Rock Titan Live. We are here with PJ Farley. We're out.
Thank you, Scott.
Down to my knees.